We're going to have a good time together. I'm excited for you. Because the cool thing is this is not an airplane that we just built, right? This is a real, honest-to-goodness World War II plane that was built back in the 40s. I think that's pretty cool. A lot of young men that went on to fight in World War II learned how to fly in this thing. It's awesome little history lesson here. So let's go ahead and do our a checklist. We're going to do a checklist here. If you don't mind, I'm going to have you help me do it.
Okay.
We're going to use the word cigar, C-I-G-A-R, as an acronym. So that means every letter means something. And we're going to check everything here. So C is the first letter in the word cigar, means controls. And so what I want you to do is I want you to move that stick left and right. There you go. And when you do that, make sure the ailerons are working okay. One goes up, one goes down. That's working okay. Good. Check your elevator, so bring the stick all the way back to your lap. And we can use that mirror up there. There's your elevator. You can see it working. And then check your rudder pedals as well. Move the stick left, or your feet. There you go. Does everything feel okay?
Yeah.
Looks like it's working okay. We'll call that good. Eyes for instruments. I'm looking over your left shoulder. Your 800, and I'm looking at that altimeter. And it's fine there. Airspeed's fine. The little black ball is fine. Everything else, all the instruments look good. The next letter is G. It's gasoline. It's always nice to have enough gas to go fly, right? The gas gauge is right above your head. See that little glass tube right there? See that little bobber moving in it?
Yeah.
Each quarter tank is about an hour of flight time. So what do you think? 2 hours and 45 minutes? I think we got enough gas for today. Mixture's rich and the fuel's on. Don't worry about that. A is accessories, elevator, trim tab. I'll set that. And then we are just about ready to taxi. But before we do taxi, we actually have to listen to a radio frequency. It has everything about the airport that we need to know before we contact our friends in the tower. Here it is.
Kalamazoo Airport Information Alpha 1753 Zulu. Wind 020 at 7. Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 23, dew point 4. Altimeter 3000. Visual approach runways 35 and 5 in use.
All right.
No Stearman, taxiway Charlie 1 closed.
That's Alpha. Well, let me add a little power here, Jaxen, to get the airplane away from the building. If you don't mind, just have your feet on the floor, but hold on to that stick for me if you don't mind. I mean, that would be helpful. I'm going to contact the tower, guys. Kalamazoo ground, Stearman 1 at the Air Zoo with Alpha ready to taxi 35, full length.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo ground, pass behind the Skyhawk taxiing south on Bravo, runway 35, taxi via Bravo.
35 via Bravo for Stearman 1. Boy, it's cool. You could be flying this, or you can be flying.
We need to run up at the end for 122 Papa Whiskey. We can take Bravo 2 if they're going to be ready to go.
You can fly one of those things. You don't want to fly one of those. That's boring.
Via Bravo.
All right, Bravo 2, 122 Papa Whiskey.
Jaxen, what grade are you in? Are you going into?
6th grade.
6th grade? Do you live in Portage, or do you live in Kalamazoo?
I live in Portage.
Yeah. Pretty cool place you live in. It's really pretty to fly here. I really like it. I live in Florida, so I'm up here in the summertime. And Florida's cool in the winter, but this is beautiful in the summer. So I'm doing these little zigzags left and right because there's a plane in front of me. I don't want to hit him. He's way up there. So your mom was telling me that you guys went on an airline flight and you got first class tickets?
Yeah.
And did you get to talk to the pilot? Did they take you up to the cockpit?
No.
That would have been cool.
Right after the trip, I was like, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Ask the flight attendants.
A lot of times, you know, I have a lot of friends that are airline pilots, and they actually like it when, if they're not in a hurry, to show young people how everything works, or just let you look at it. But I'll tell you what, when you look in the cockpit of an airliner with all the buttons and the gauges and the little lights and all the stuff, it's kind of intimidating. Because you're like, man, I got to know how to work all that stuff to learn how to fly. And until you get in an airplane like this. We don't have any buttons or gauges or any of that stuff that they have in a jet. It's pretty easy. All right, I'm going to give you 2 little words of advice here today to do well. The first thing is, I know you're a little too young to drive a car, but have you ever noticed that when your parents are driving, like they're staring at their phones or they're staring at the radio when they drive? You ever notice them doing that?
No.
No, they don't do that, because if they did that, they would crash. They'd get in an accident. Same is true for an airplane. What you want to do is you want to look outside the airplane the majority of the time. You're going to be able to see what we're doing, just like that simulator that you fly. And then the other thing is, I know this is kind of a stressful thing, especially this is your first flight ever in a plane, to actually fly it. But what you don't want to have is like a really, really tight grip on the stick, because if you have a really, really tight grip on the stick, what's going to happen is your hand's going to cramp pretty quickly, and then you're going to want to start flying with your left hand, and then that's going to cramp, and next thing you know, you're flying with 2 hands, and then you over-control the airplane, which is not really what you want. So you kind of want to hold that stick like you're holding that joystick on your simulator. Go ahead, if you don't mind there, bring that stick all the way back to your lap. All the way back. All the way back. There you go. Let me check my engine here. I got to show you something pretty cool, too. I got a smoke system on the plane. Yeah, I got to show you, too. We're going to use it today. We'll do it for your parents. Look out the right side of the airplane. Sweet, right? So what we'll do is when we take off, I know your dad's got that fancy camera with that big old zoom lens. He's going to be kind of zooming in right on you, and we'll give him some air show smoke on the takeoff. Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
That'll be a good picture. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So for takeoff, I want you to hold on to the stick with me so you can feel what I'm doing.
Okay.
But just have your feet on the floorboards, and then once we get off the ground, I'll have you come on the pedals with me, okay?
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
How do you feel right now? Feel good?
Yeah.
Nervous?
Yeah.
Nervous and excited at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Let me call the tower. There's no one out there. Kalamazoo Tower, Stearman 1, we're ready to go at 3-5.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo Tower. Right turnout approved. Runway 35, full lane. Clear for takeoff.
Clear to go, right turnout, Stearman 1. Awesome. All right. So the idea on this takeoff is we are going to go on out here. We've been cleared for takeoff. We're going to look straight ahead. And we're going to relax the stick pressure to about right there. We're here in the middle. Here we go. We're all squared up with the runway. We gently bring the power forward. And away we go. All right, so that's full power, Jaxen. We let this thing speed on up. The tail comes off the ground. She's ready to fly right now. We just bring the nose up a little bit, just like in your simulator, and we're in the air. Not a big deal. All right, so there's your dad and mom over here off your left. Here's a little air show smoke for them. All those people are looking too. Sweet. Love that. I don't know if the guy behind me is going to like that. I want to get one of those for my car. It'd be awesome. Okay, Jaxen, go ahead and put your feet on those pedals down there. Grab that stick if you're not on that stick with me. The first thing we're going to do here is our right-hand turn together. All right, so what I want you to do, just like your simulator, gently ease the stick to your right. She's going to roll to the right. When you get the angle of bank that you want, you bring the stick back to neutral. Awesome. And we just kind of hold this road right here. You see this road here? This is Kilgore Road. When we're flying parallel with this road, I want you to roll the wings back to level.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you know what the plane over there is?
Where at? Oh, that is called a Mohawk. Oh, it's an OV-1 Mohawk is what it's called. They used to fly those things on aircraft carriers, like for mail and stuff like that. Cool. All right, let's try a left-hand turn. So So you ease the stick to your left. She's going to roll to the left. You get the angle of bank that you want. You bring the stick back to neutral. So flying a plane is just like flying your simulator. It's all the same. Good. Let's go ahead and roll the wings back to level. Let's try another right-hand turn. So you use the stick to your right. There you go. And then stick back to neutral. So it's kind of sensitive, isn't it? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you a couple of things to do here for me. Let's go ahead and roll the wings back to level. Good. Now, Jaxen, look at me in the mirror. Okay, so you're flying the plane now, okay? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Let me look around. If we hit a little bump and Mother Nature makes the airplane roll, sometimes the airplane will go through it and you don't have to really correct it, but sometimes it needs some help. But I want you to make a right-hand turn, and if you look down here, you see the power lines?
Yeah.
Those power lines are north and south, so let's make a right-hand turn, and let's go to the north. Good. When we're going to, I'm sorry, that's south. When we're going to the south, we'll roll the wings back to level. Good, let's try a left-hand turn. There you go, good. Perfect. Now what we want you to do here, Jaxen, let's make this turn, and so we're going this way. That's east. Awesome. Let's try another turn to your right. Let's go back to the south. Good. And then we'll roll the wings back to level. Okay, so let's talk about some of our instruments. Let's look at the top row of instruments on the left. You see that needle, the long needle is on the number 5?
Yeah.
And the short needle is between the 1 and the 2?
Yeah.
That tells us that we're at 1,500 feet above the ground. I'm sorry, above sea level, or about 800 feet above the ground. What we want here, Jaxen, is we want that long needle to point to the number 8. So let's climb up a little higher. There you go. There's 1,600 feet, 1,700 feet. Awesome. There's 1,800 feet. What I want you to do, we'll level off here just like they do in the jets. And I'll bring the power back a little bit. Cool. All right, so here's what I want you to do for me. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a 180-degree turn. So we're going to do a U-turn up here to your left. And let's do about a 30-degree angle of bank turn. So that's 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30. Perfect. Hold that right there. You see this little road right here?
Yeah.
This is north and south. You start off going to the south. So just keep it going all the way around until we're going to the north. Doing good? Hey, when did your parents tell you that you were going to fly an airplane for your birthday?
Like earlier this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad they told you this morning, because if they would have told you last night, you would not have slept so good. It would have been a long night. Hey, great job. Let's try one of those to your right. Same thing. There you go. And so you start off going to the north. We're going to go to the south. So we're looking for that road again. That's 90 degrees there. And that's a 180. Good. We'll roll the wings to level. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I want you to look right ahead of the windscreen. We have those wires that come out of the airplane right ahead of you and they go to your upper wing. All right, so what I want you to do now for me, Jaxen, Let's do a big old circle in the sky. Right now you're heading to the south. Put that left wire ahead of us. Put it right on the horizon and a little bit above the horizon. Let's try that. We'll do a 360. If the wire falls below the horizon, you're going downhill, so you got to bring the nose up a little bit. Good. Bring the nose up a little bit. Good. Hold that right there. That's 90 degrees. That's 180 degrees. You're doing good. Let's bring the nose up a little bit more. Bring the stick back. There you go. 270 degrees. And these power lines, again, they're north and south. So when we're going to the south, we'll roll the wings to level.
Roll them level?
Yep. What do you think about that? Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's try the same thing to your right. Put that right wire parallel to the horizon and a little bit above the horizon. Good. Bring that nose up a little bit more. A little bit more. Awesome. That's 90 degrees. Oh, sorry, that's a 180. 270 degrees. (360 degrees). Good. We'll roll the wings back to level. That's how you turn an airplane. Not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you knew that. But let's try something new. Since you've been doing these turns, I've been doing the rudder work for you. And my right foot's getting a little tired. So let's see if we can do some turns. And now I'm going to introduce you to the rudder. So make sure your feet are on those pedals. Let's look at that little black ball, that bubble level. That's like the one your dad has at home. Let's make another right-hand turn. I'll show you how to work that, the rudder. There you go. Stick back to neutral. Now look at that little black ball. That was on the bubble level.
Yeah.
See how that ball's out to the right? It was. There you go. Push forward on that right pedal until that ball comes back in the middle. A little bit more right pedal, a little bit more right pedal. There you go. So that little black ball tells you how much rudder pedal pressure to use in a turn. So now you learn how to use the rudder. Let's roll the wings back to level. Let's make a left-hand turn and watch what that ball does. You don't have to use any rudder pedal on the left turn because the torque of the engine does that for you. Look at that little ball, it's right in the middle. Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's how that rudder pedal thing works. Very nice. Nice turn. And then we'll roll the wings back to level here. Hey Jaxen, let me ask you a question real quick. You remember on the ground, you were maybe a little nervous?
Yeah.
How do you feel now? You feel better?
I'm still a little nervous.
You're still a little nervous? Okay. That's cool. All right, so the next maneuver we're going to do kind of a fun thing, and it's called a lazy 8. And so what we're going to do here, Jaxen, is I'm going to come on the controls with you. I'll show you how to do this, and if you like them, I'll see if you can do them on your own. So just stay with me on the controls, okay? Here I am. I'm with you. We're going to start off by doing a shallow turn to our left. Like that. It's really a baby turn. Then we're going to bring the nose up. So bring the nose up for me. There you go. Now we're going to freeze this stick right here. Don't move anything. Watch what happens. The airplane slows down. Gravity is going to pull the nose through the horizon on its own. Now listen to the airplane. 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, or 100 miles an hour. We're going to go to the right, bring the nose up, and we're going the other direction. So what do you think? Did you like that?
Sure.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you the airplane is yours.
Go turn it right.
I'll tell you how to do this. All right, let's try one to your left. So a baby turn to your left. Good, and then bring the nose up. Up a little more. There you go. Now hold the stick right there. Don't move anything. Here comes the nose. Down through the horizon. Downhill at 5. Start rolling it to your right. and up. What do you think?
Pretty cool.
Is that cool? Good. I like doing those. Those are fun. Okay, Jaxen, let's try one of those to your right. Now, the only difference here between what you just did and what you're going to do is that it needs a little right rudder. Okay? Whenever you're ready, let's try it. So a shallow turn to your right, and then bring the nose up. Hold that stick right there. Push on that right rudder right about now. Beautiful. Downhill she flies. Start rolling to your left and up. Left and up. 110 miles an hour. Is that pretty cool? What's your favorite maneuver so far? The turns or the lazy eights?
Lazy eight.
I thought so. So here's what's next. There's some houses to your right. There's really nothing to your left. So what we want you to do here, Jaxen, we're going to do one to the left and then one to the right. But this time, no stopping in between the two. Okay? The airplane's yours. No one's around you. Let's try one. Shallow turn to your left. Bring the nose up. We'll get a little air show smoke for the people that are looking at you right now. And those boats right down below you. Good. Start rolling it to the right. And up. There's 115 miles an hour. Shallow turn to your right. And up. Up some more. Little right rudder here. Air show smoke. Start rolling it to your left. And bring the nose up. And Jaxen, you just did that by yourself, my friend. Now, after doing a lazy eight in the Stearman, you can't be nervous anymore. What do you think so far? Does it fly like you thought it was going to fly? Is it easier? Is it harder? What do you think?
A little easier.
It's easier, yeah. I agree. Pretty up here. Let's do a 180-degree turn to your left or to your right, your choice. Go to the left. There we go. And this road over here that you see, that's north-south, right next to you. This dirt road, I think that's a dirt road. We'll go back to the north here. Good. Then we'll roll the wings back to level. Jaxen, I'm going to ask you a question. And I know you're 12. I know you're 12. But back in World War II, you would have been expected to fly this airplane by yourself in like 10 hours. So you've been flying it for like 10 minutes. Do you think you could do this by yourself in like 10 hours of instruction?
I don't really think so.
You don't think so? What about 12 hours of instruction? I've got to do it. You've already learned how to fly it. I just have to teach you how to do a takeoff and a landing now.
Probably.
All right. Cool. Well, now you know how to go left and right and up and down. So what would you like to do now? You want to try another turn?
I don't care.
Let's try another turn to your left. You can choose whatever angle of bank you want. Good. It's kind of a cool lake. Let's make this right-hand turn, Jack. Let's go to the other end of the lake. Do you like to fish?
What?
Do you like to go fishing?
Yeah.
I've got some friends that do a lot of fishing on this lake right here. Catch a lot of fish out of here. All right, I've got a challenge for you. Let's try this. Let's do another turn to your left, and we'll use our air show smoke. And so we'll try to make a 360-degree turn to your left, and I'll give you some smoke. And if you make a level turn in the sky, you'll fly right through your smoke. Let's try that. Awesome. They're jealous of you down there. They want to be flying rather than being on a lake. Bring that nose up just a little high. There you go. Right there. That looks kind of fun. They're pulling 3 inner tubers on one boat. I haven't learned how to do a smiley face yet, but look what's right ahead of you. See your smoke right ahead of you?
Yeah.
Guess what? I think that's called a level turn in the sky. I think that looks cool. There's your smoke. Awesome. Good job. Let's try one to your right. Remember on this one, add a little right rudder pedal pressure. Keep that ball in the middle. And then bring the nose up some more. Up, 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 up. Up a little bit more. There you go. Cool. Where's our smoke at? So, my dad bought this airplane, Jaxen, when I was 6 years old out in California, and it took him 18 years to get it flying again. There's your smoke. That's a level turn in the sky. Awesome job. So we've had this airplane for like 45 years now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So when I was your age, like 12 years old, it wasn't flying yet. So I would go out to his shop and I would climb, sit in it, make airplane sounds, and dream of the day when I got to fly it. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, let's try. I got one more thing for you. Let's make a left-hand turn. There you go. Good. Because the deal is with flying is it's supposed to be fun. That's why we fly airplanes like this. Here's the other thing I want you to do here, Jaxen. I want you to climb up a little higher. So bring that nose up, there we go, and we'll go to the other end of this lake here. So we'll roll the wings to level. There you go. And we'll go to, right now we're at 1,400 feet. We'll go to 1,700 feet. That's the top gauge. So when that long needle is pointing to the number 7, that's what we're looking for there. Good as 1,600 feet.
Here, Juliet. Number 2 following a Skyhawk on a 3-mile final for runway 35, runway 35, clear to option.
Clear for option as number 2 for 5-4 here, Juliet.
All right. So the last thing we're going to do here, Jaxen, is we're going to try to learn how to fly the airplane by sound, okay?
Okay.
So we can level off here. This is plenty high. And let's go a little bit more to your right. So head towards the end of the lake there. So we're not over people's houses. All right, this is kind of, I think you'll like this. All right, so I'm going to gently bring the power back a little bit so it's wicked loud. All right, cool. Now, can you hear that? Tell me when you can hear that whistle of the wind in the wires. Hear that whistle?
Yeah.
That means we're going really fast. We're going about 100 miles an hour. Bring the airplane, bring the nose up a little bit for me. There you go. Now listen to it. Do you hear the airplane slowing down?
Yeah.
Cool. Bring the nose up some more. Come on back a little bit more on this stick. It's pretty quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here, this is what we call a stall. The nose gently falls, airplane speeds up going downhill, and then bring the nose back up to level flight. So on some of those airplanes that you fly on the simulator, you stall them if you get going too slow. It's kind of nasty. They fall out of the sky. This one, not like that. And that is all you do in an airplane. That's up and down, left and right, fast and slow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you still nervous?
Yeah.
Are you? Really? That kind of surprised me. I'm looking at you in the mirror, and you're looking outside the airplane all the time. But you know what that means to me as your instructor? It means you're comfortable. I would have thought you were comfortable. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Good. All right, so we have a couple minutes left to go here before we have to head back to Kalamazoo. You've actually been flying now for almost 25 minutes. So if you have some time to do something else, what would you like to do? You want to just fly it straight? You want to do another turn? What do you think?
I kind of want to explore.
What's that?
Explore.
Let's go explore. Cool. I like that. Let's see. Since you live in Portage, I'll show you around here. If you look way over there, you see that big lake?
Yeah.
That's Austin Lake.
Yeah.
That's Indian Lake. That's down there towards Vicksburg is right down here. And then that lake right ahead of you, a little bit ahead of you to your left, that is Long Lake. And the road that goes between Austin Lake and Long Lake is Sprinkle Road.
Huh.
You know Sprinkle Road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My aunt lives on West Lake.
Oh, is that right? Okay. That's on the other side of town.
There's like a bridge under like a little, under like the road where like the water is, where like boats can get through. Even though it's really more meant for jet skis.
I think I know where that is. I don't really fly a lot on the west side of town just because it takes a long time to get there in this airplane here. I like it out here. And all these people that were houses that we're flying over, I've been flying over their houses for like 4 years. I think I've taken them all flying because they look up and they see the airplanes. They're like, I want to go on that. And what's cool about this part of your flight is you have the skills necessary to make the airplane do whatever you want it to do. If you want to make a turn like you're doing right now, you know how to do that. Very nice. That's a good turn. Let's try one of those to your left. That's really good. The cool thing about this plane is like when you're flying it, right now you're only going 80 miles an hour in the air. But because we're at about 800 feet above the ground, it only looks like we're going like 10 or 20 miles an hour. It looks like we're going really slow. Makes you feel safe. Jaxen, right down below you to your left. You see that road down there?
Yeah.
All right, I want you to make a 180 degree turn to your left. I want you to follow that road. There you go, good. All right, so follow this road until you hit a lake. The lake that you're going to fly into is going to be Long Lake. So that's where I want you to report to, is I want you to fly back to Long Lake. Do you see it up there?
Yeah.
It's a little bit it's ahead of you and off to your right a little bit. You're doing good, man.
Thanks.
You're doing really good for a 12-year-old. That's awesome. Now you can kind of see why I told you earlier that I took my first flight plan ride when I was 12 and I remember it today. What do you think? You think you're going to remember it today for a while?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
40 Juliet, part of the Kalamazoo class Delta to the northeast. Radio service terminated for change approved.
Okay, so Jaxen, look over off to your right. You see the airport?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to make a little bit more of a right-hand turn and head for this big part of the lake right here. When we get to that big part of the lake, the end of it there, I'm going to call the tower. I'm going to tell them who we are, Stearman 1, where we're at. We're over Long Lake, and that we're inbound to land. And then I'm going to have you fly the airplane back to the airport and line up the airplane with the runway. Doing great. Kalamazoo Tower, Stearman 1, Rover Long Lake, inbound 35.
Stearman 1, Kalamazoo Tower, runway 35, clear to land, wind 150 at 5.
Clear to land 35, Stearman 1. All right, doing good. Just keep on going straight. Now that we're going to land on the long runway, you can kind of see it from here. And you like video games, so we have the video game I'm going to have you play. When you get a little closer to the runway, you're going to look at the runway, and on the left side of the runway, there's going to be 4 lights. And what we want is we want 2 white lights, and we want 2 red lights. So if we have 4 white lights, that means we're too high.
Wind 150 at 5, would you like runway 17 or 35?
We'll stick with 3-5. I'll look at the windsock on short final, and if I don't like it, we'll go around.
Stearman 1, roger.
All right. So I'm going to bring the power back. You hear that whistle sound?
Yeah.
Good, we got plenty of speed.
Where do you see the lights?
You'll see them. They'll be on the left side of the runway. See them there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got what, 4 whites?
Yeah.
That means we're a little high, so we'll let the nose come down a little bit. We want 2 reds and 2 whites. There's 1 red. There's 2 reds. See if you can keep that there. It's hard to see. There we go. Now we got 1 red, 3 whites. Good.
Are you gonna take over?
I'll take it from here. Cool. Just have your feet on the floor. Now we're listening. Let's see if we can do. Now listen to it. Now, we're going to keep this thing going straight.
That felt nice.
What's that?
Like how it landed.
Getting on the ground.
Stearman 1, turn left on Bravo 3, text the AirZoo via Bravo, remain this frequency, and we're going to be switching the 1723.
Stearman 1. All right, we're going to switch runways. And in we go. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You kind of liked the video game. You didn't know we had to play that, did you? So we're going to come on in here, and then we're going to park this thing right where we found it.
Kalamazoo Airport information, Charlie.
I thought you did a great job. And you had fun. That was the best part.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll swing this around right here. And I'll bring the mixture back to lean. We'll add a little power, and that's her. Complete your birthday gift. Awesome.